So when we talk about resolving customer queries, right, we talk about SLAs, right? Most often SLAs look impressive. I want to put this question from like, multiple angles, like, how do you ensure the SLAs are met? How do you arrive at an SLA given the depth and breadth of queries, right? Because we get questions from a lot of different areas. Like it's just not one particular segment or a product line or like nothing about that, right? It could be anything. And how do you reduce the amount of time customer has to spend with you, irrespective of their chosen channels? So because these three, why we want to put together is like, when we hear from the industry, like, most often, like, this is one of the thing, like, the waiting online for a long time. And like, so they did tell me some SLA they're not meeting. So that's why we thought like we will put all these three, like, together. Yeah.
There is various types of SLAs. As a brand, I have an interaction SLA. That's the moment of truth. When the rubber meets the road, when the call arrives or somebody is chatting with you, what SLA do you deliver? Those SLAs are you able to answer fastest, as much fast as possible? Are you able to understand the query? Are you able to respond to the query? So accessibility SLAs, responsive SLAs, and then resolution is the toughest one, because somebody has reached out to you because of certain whether they had a query or a complaint, something didn't live up to the expectation. Now that's a very complex part, because more often than not, this SLA spans across multiple departments in your principal customers departments. This has three connotations. As a service provider, I can tell you how difficult it is to manage this, because for customer, it's an integrated phase of an enterprise. Let's say you are a broadband provider. Customer doesn't care whether it's talking to a telecaller, you called your voice, you're just talking to that brand. There is a network team behind trying to restore the outage. How do you manage this SLA? Now, this is managed with a very complex ecosystem of applications which binds together different teams, and it's very difficult to achieve. But a lot of organizations have started implementing these, how we call it, work allocation engines, because you need to be able to measure. If you're promised a customer, sir, we understand your problem, the SLA for correcting this is 6 hours. 6 hours is committed. Obviously, somebody has given an SLA that with this kind of problem, 6 hours is something SLA can be. But how do you make it happen? This is where a lot of technology is what we see being deployed. Earlier, it used to be a lot of coordination. Coordination is still there. But recently, we have seen this happening through a lot of technology that is spanning across different ecosystem providers. Now, take a multi-brand retail example. Again, they promise SLA. You went there, you bought, let's say, a refrigerator. The SLA is within 48 hours, the product has to get delivered at your home. Within the next 24 to 48 hours, installation has to happen and a demo. I'm just taking an example, random example of how multi-brand retail works. Now, how do you bind together all this? Earlier, it used to be a little more than a little complex, because there are various ecosystem players. The guy who's delivering is from a different department. The guy who's going to come and demonstrate is actually the original brand which is sold.
Yeah.
But you as a multi-brand provider is managing this SLA. Yeah. We see this happening through a lot of technology, proactive communication. Sometimes merely the fact that you inform the customer that something is going to happen is enough to satisfy them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's a lot of calls that come and there's a chase. Even when the call lands up, how reassuring do you do? So we have started seeing this happening through use of technology a lot. And of course, visibility, empowerment, and coordination.
Yeah.
This is what I see happening very, very, and visibility has taken another level now. Take another example of food delivery online portals. They are showing you real time where your food is.
Yeah.
That's a level of visibility. And
Perfect.
you know what happens? Once this is done in one industry,
Yeah.
you start expecting it everywhere where you go.
Very good. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
The expectation is reset at that level. The bar is
Yeah.
set higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where the challenges also come, and that's where the great opportunity is also there. Because when you deliver this kind of experience, customer is going to say, look, uh, I could have bought this fridge from somewhere else, but I get better experience here. So I'm going to go back. And that's how you build customer loyalty through this, uh, you know, visibility, proactiveness, and transparency.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks,
Just
Rajesh.
to
Yeah.
add to what
Yeah.
Rinoo was saying,
Yeah.
classic example of integration of systems, right? And I think as a service provider, sometimes it does get challenging for us to tell the client, what sort of detailed, internal follow-ups that we're required to do to get the job done and make it sort of seamless, right? One of our clients, international appliances brand, follows a similar culture of shop to installation per se. So, and I think the level of integration of the system today, right? You There is three people involved. One is the store that's going to deliver the appliance. The second is the person who's the probably electrician who's going to go and install and fit, run it, give it a demo. And in certain stages there is a skill level of a carpenter that is involved, right, into fitting brackets. So there are carpenters who are now using a system, right? There's a level of integration I'm saying. You wouldn't expect this sort to go in, into certain brands or certain products, and this is doable, or certain end users to have that capability or skill set. But the way systems are defined and designed in such simplistic manners, right? So we have carpenters who are using the tool to check their appointment, go to the customer location and the deemed time. They already know pre-hand what is the requirement, what needs to be fitted, what are the dimensions, what are the tools they're going to need, and at the same time, they're there. They make it happen. Once it's done, they click a picture, upload as per customer, finesse, and how it was finished, so that there is no ambiguity later on, and there is a customer signature which is taken on the same app and beautifully done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it depends on how well the whole system is put into.
Yes.
Another
Yeah.
very important metric I'd like to add: there are some organizations which are very sensitive towards, what they make their customer go through, right, when the customer comes to them. So there is something we track for some of our clients, which is customer effort score, right? The amount of effort, regardless, not you as an organization or a service provider, but the customer had to put in to get to a resolution, right? The number of choices he hit on the IVR, the number of times he had to probably
Yeah.
speak to somebody, number of departments that he bounced,
Mm.
between, all of them gets tracked to figure out, to get to resolution. And their goal is, ideal case scenario, step one should handle everything. Worst case scenario, the thing shouldn't go beyond step customer effort thrice. I'm in step three. After
Yeah.
that, the customer shouldn't have to go to you. You should keep going back to the customer and get it sorted for.
Yeah.
So it depends on how and what sort of efforts we put in tracking these, monitoring these, measuring these, and the systems we implement to get this, done and make this happen.